I'm Randy, and I'm going to do all of this for you tonight because I want to show you guys how French macaroons are made. French macarons, macarons, whatever you want to call it. It's a little cookie and it's got like stuff in the middle. Really hard to make, I guess, but not really. So master baking is something I do all the time. I love it. I use lots of tools when I master bake, and I want to make sure that you guys know the right tools to use so that you can master bake like I do. Alright? First thing we're going to do is get some almond flour. So 115 grams of almond flour. You have to be precise with this because if you're not, then it's just going to come out all messed up. So we want to make sure it's right. Almond flour, 115 grams. You want 230 grams of powdered sugar. Notice it's like way overfilled, but it's the right amount, I promise, okay? Egg whites. A lot of people, you know, I do 144 grams of egg whites. Some people want room temperature, some people want them cold, some people don't care. I am superstitious, so I kind of like them room temperature, and I'll show you how to take cold egg whites, make them room temperature without scrambling them real quick, so when you're in a pinch you can get that done, okay? And then I have my regular sugar, so got about 72 grams in there exactly, and then a little pinch of kosher salt. Usually it's a half tablespoon or 7 grams. So I don't usually use kosher salt. You can, it's really up to you. Make sure you have a good piping bag because master bakers gotta have a good bag, okay? This tip is nice, a small tip, easy to use, and get in there and you can pipe it all out just right. And then you'll want a big metal bowl and a sifter. Make sure you have a good sifter so that when we put all these ingredients together, we can get it done correctly. Many steps to this process, but this one's usually the easiest. So the almond flour and the powdered sugar need to be together so that we can put them in the same bowl. But we want to make sure that we use a sifter to get all of the big chunks of almond flour out of here because you'll notice it's quite grainy. Okay, now there's a lot of people on YouTube that will take it and put it in a coffee grinder. I can't tell you how fantastically bad that thing is because it's really, really, really pointless. So just take them both. Put them in here, and then mix it around. There's a few ways you can do it. One of the ways, people will use those automatic sifters. That's probably the easiest way, but since I was too lazy to go get one, this is the way we're gonna do it. And I like this. It's very zen-like, and you can sit here and, you know, it's kind of like playing with your girlfriend's hair while she's sitting on the couch watching chips or something. It just makes it a lot more comforting and relaxing. You'll get sick of this after about 20 to 30 seconds. Trust me, I do every time. But then again, I realize, you know, I'm making a tasty treat and people like it. And if you don't, you wouldn't be watching this crazy video I make because we're just all crazy master bakers. So this is what it's like to masturbate. Sometimes you have to do it slow and methodical. And other times you can just rip right through it real quick and get back to doing what you're doing. But we don't want to have to worry about that, okay? So we'll get this done, and then once it's done, I'll show you exactly what it's going to look like because the flour consistency is going to be very, very powder-like and soft and fine, and that's what we wanted, okay? We're almost there. See all these little dots? Kind of looks like Dippin' Dots that nobody eats because they're really horrible and all GMO and all that stuff. So we want to make sure that we keep going a little bit further, but we're almost there, guys, all right? So now we're left with a few little bits right here. That's about all we should have. Some people say you should have 1 or 2 tablespoons. Right here I've got about 3 tablespoons and we're good. So I've got all of my flour and my powdered sugar sifted in there and we're gonna get that ready to apply to the rest to fold a little bit later, but right now we're gonna get started on the meringue. Alright, so while I was talking at random, I wanted to remember that we wanted to show you how to get these eggs done. So using a double boiler, I'm just going to put all of these egg whites in here like so. And then the heat from the pan, the boiled water will come up and allow these to be heated up but not too hot. We don't want to make scrambled eggs and we don't want them to be too cold. So we just whisk them a little bit, get them to where they're nice and room temperature. This just makes it happen a lot quicker. I don't own a microwave, so I like to do things al tradicional, which isn't a word, but it is now, okay? Just so you know. We'll get these done, and then I will show you another quick trick that'll make the meringue a lot easier, alright? So I've got these a little bit frothy in there, so they're not super cold, they're not super warm, because like I said, don't want scrambled eggs, we're making meringue here. So we're gonna put these right in our stand mixer. Get that done, get that out of the way. And then we're gonna put this on about, I'll say 6. That's about where I want it to be. 6. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is make it, while this is still going, I'm gonna put the sugar in slowly. Meringue. It takes a minute. So when we do that, you notice that we're up to 8 now on the super stand mixer. It's not ready yet. Let's stop this for a second, pull it down. Notice how it doesn't peak, doesn't do anything. You're not there yet, so just be patient. So close. So close. But not there yet. Alright, check this out. Now, you're real close, okay? So when we pull this off, you'll notice it doesn't make a peak yet. So you can't use it. So you just got to keep going a little bit more. And I think we're pretty good now. When I pull this down, you're going to notice not much comes off of it, and that's a pretty good size peak because of the way we picked it off. Best way to tell is take this bad boy out, spill it on yourself. If you can't spill it on yourself, you're good. Alright, so now you'll notice that my meringue magically turned pink. That's because I used 3 drops of liquid food coloring in here of neon pink, because I wanted pink macarons. And some people do these in different ways. So folding, everyone says, is this crazy exact science. When I master bake, I do it till I feel better, and I like the way it feels. And for me, I fold until the consistency is just right. People say it's gonna look like lava. I don't know what lava looks like. I live in Arizona. Other than putting my feet on the concrete too long during the summertime, closest I get to lava, okay? But right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this, which is the almond flour and powdered sugar mixture, and I'm gonna dump it into here. Now there's several theories on this too. Some people say just take a little at a time and then fold and then add more. So that's what I'm gonna do today. But typically what I do is I fold it all over, get it in there, make sure that the meringue touches all of that almond flour, and knock out this air that's in here, because ironically you want to make a nice stiff meringue and then you want to knock all the air out of it. So there's got to be a Rihanna Chris Brown reference in there somewhere, but I just can't think of it at the time. So make sure you get it in here without spilling it everywhere. There we go. So a couple good folds, and then you can go ahead and finish the rest. So we can get this done. I'm going to fold this, fold this, fold this, and then when we come back, I'm going to start piping it, showing you how to get it on the sill pads or the parchment paper, however you like it, okay? So we're folding, 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 and you'll notice it's kind of lava-ish, but it's not lava, so keep folding. To a good lava consistency. Some would say this is almost too runny, but it's really not. So take your piping bag, fold it like this, stuff it in a cool cup, get it in there. That way it doesn't run through the bottom, and trying to hold it and everything is kind of annoying. So we'll just get that. I love my trusty fabric piping bag because, I don't know, I like the consistency of it, and it's a little bit better. Sometimes they're a little bit tougher to use, but I really don't care. So that's all good to go. We're ready. Now what we want to do is use a good size sheet. I use Silpats. These silicone things are amazing. I got this one off Amazon, and it's got pre-measured macaroon discs on them already. So I can choose what size to pipe, and I can pipe it on there so that when it relaxes, it hits that specific size every time. It makes for a good, consistent cookie. And you'll see a lot of people that make these recipes online, and I'm not bashing any of them, but they make one that's seriously the size of a dime. And I want one that's the size of an Oreo. So I want one that's a good size that you can actually eat and fill yourself up with. You don't need 65 of them to equal one cookie. So we want to make sure that we get a good size cookie out of this, and that it's consistent. Because the one hard part about a macaroon is if you don't get consistent sizes, then you're going to have a bunch of different shapes that don't match up when you try to put the buttercreams in them, or the compotes, or whatever you want to put in them. There we go. And you want to make sure that that's all squared away. So we'll wrap this up and then I'll show you how to pipe these. Alright, so now that I've got all of my mixture in there, I'm going to go ahead and get my piping bag right to the tip, right like that. If you made it right, it won't fall out immediately, so I kind of use this as a little test. So come straight down on it, and pipe a little bit till it hits the thing and pull up. And you'll notice when you're doing this, these should all rest. So that peak should rest within seconds. If it rests instantly, it's probably a little too flat. But if it doesn't rest at all, it's probably going to be a little too thick. And that can be a big problem when it comes time to pull these cookies out of the oven. And I'll show you why. Just get that in there like that. And then one more like that. Now, I tend to not smack the tray, as they say, to get all the little air bubbles out, because it depends on how you make your batter. But this one, I can see there's a little bitty air bubbles throughout some of these. So if I just give it one good wrap, you'll notice all these bubbles now pop. So all that air is coming up through the mixture, which is what you want. You want a good airless mixture in there. We just spent all that time folding this meringue so we could knock all the air out, just to have all this air come back in and ruin our macaroons. We don't want that to happen. Quick, you'll notice that I have an extra one up here. This is like my little guinea pig one. This is the one I use to touch and make sure that it grows a skin. So these are going to sit here, and while they're chilling out there, you want to touch these, and you'll notice, yeah, see, it's still liquid. So it's not ready yet to throw in the oven. You want to make sure there's a good, nice skin on top of these, so when you touch it, it's kind of rubbery, but it's not actually, yeah, it's not going to be like that. So that's why I keep that one over there, just as my little tester. So now, you'll notice when I touch it, it's got a little skin on it. See that little skin? That means that it's not going in anywhere. So, like I said, it's my test cookie, so I'm not, eating that one or anything. That's why I use it. So these all should be ready to go, and we're going to go ahead and put them in the oven at 300. And normally it says 18 minutes, but I usually do 22 minutes. I don't know if it's my elevation or what, but I like to make sure that they're done. They get good, nice, high feet, because the higher the feet, the thicker the cookie inside. It's a good little trick to know. If really, really small feet, you're going to have a really, really flat, airy cookie on the inside that's just going to crumble when you touch it. So you want it to have a good cookie shell and also a good cookie filling. Let's pull these bad boys out. There we go. Now you'll notice on them, they've all got feet. They all look really clean. They look really even. And that's exactly the way they should be. So we're going to let them cool now and come back to it.